Days of Our Lives recap. Wednesday, February 21. Lucas firefighter surprise. 2 Horton miracles. Days of Our Lives special episode paid a touching tribute to Bill Hayes. But is this the end of Doug? Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives spoilers recap for Wednesday, February 21. Reveals that Chad Dinmira brought Thomas Dinmira to the Spectator office since he left his remote control auto there. Chad hoped so since it might be the only toy that survived the fire. While Thomas was looking in the reverse, Leo Stark gave Chad a vim talk. Chad felt shamefaced for causing the blaze by approving the story about Clyde Weston, James Reed, but Leo claimed Chad couldn't have known and praised him as a good father. Thomas didn't find his remote control auto, but he was thrilled to find what appeared to be a handheld gaming system rather. Since Thomas had a tooth loose, he got the tooth puck to pay him in advance and thanked Leo for the 5 bone bill. Since Thomas wanted to go be with the family at the damaged house, Chad agreed he could come. Leo asked if he could tag along since he hoped to learn the history of the Hortons. At the cantina on Wednesday's day's occasion, John Black and Marlena Evans joined Kate Roberts Brady and Roman Brady as they all bandied the fire. Marlena and John mentioned that they invited Abe Carver to join them at the Horton House moment, but he couldn't come since. Paulina Price had a heart attack and was in the CCU. Meanwhile, Julie Williams, Doug Williams, Bill Hayes, and Maggie Kyriakis were all distraught at the extent of the damage. The whole Horton house looked burnt to a crisp, but there were a couple of little cautions since Alice Horton's president didn't have a mark on it and the beautifiers were fine in the basement. A firefighter spoke to Maggie, Julie, and Doug, so they were all taken suddenly when he removed his mask. Lucas Horton took off his disguise and principally admitted he couldn't stay down from his family at a time like this. Although Lucas promised that he hadn't escaped, he made it clear that he'd be in peril if anyone knew he was there. Lucas latterly admitted Clyde was the reason for the pitfall. Thomas saluted Uncle Lucas when he walked by, but Chad snappily transferred them both upstairs since it wasn't wise for Leo to see Lucas there. After Chad mentioned to Julie that Leo wanted to hear about the Horton family history, she told stories along with Doug. Marlena had a flashback of the first time she entered the Horton family home, and there were other colorful Horton-related recollections throughout the occasion too. Days also offered some dummy flashbacks of young Tom and young Alice as they went on picnics in the 1930s and erected their family together. At one point, Alice showed off the first Horton beautifiers and suggested a tradition to add further for their grandchildren and great-grandchildren eventually. Tom and Alice kept esteeming a house across from their favorite fun and game spot, but times were tough. It was hard for Alice and Tom to go further than their little apartment, but Tom ultimately got the down payment from his generous father and surprised Alice with the key to their new place. After carrying Alice outside, Tom made her home. Alice suggested it was just a house, but that it'd be a home with their love and eventually snoozled-facades with Tom in a sweet moment. Back in the present, Thomas poked around the fireplace until a quaint box dropped down. It was a time capsule created by Alice in 1966 that was to be opened in 2016 or latterly. Although the box proved delicate to get outside, John refused to give up and suggested a hammer. Still, Days of Our Lives suckers were left in the dark on what was inside the time capsule, at least for now. Days of Our Lives spoilers say that Riddle could still unravel ultimately, so stay tuned for updates on any stunning news that might tie in with the discovery. Days of Our Lives special episode paid a touching tribute to Bill Hayes. But is this the end of Doug? As hard as it's been to see the Horton house reduced to ash and rubble on Days of Our Lives, we couldn't have asked for a more beautiful tribute to the Hortons just when we need it most. As Doug and Julie took in what was left of their beloved home on Wednesday's episode on February 21, you can read the full recap here. The show packed in flashbacks from Tom and Alice Horton's past. Some were from scenes of Days of Our Lives past, and some were recreations of actors playing young versions of Tom and Alice we never got to see. And at the end of episode, the show paid tribute, in loving memory of Bill Hayes with a quote from Hamlet. "Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest." Hayes, who was a legend of stage and screen, passed away just last month, though we likely won't see a farewell to Doug until sometime in the summer when the show's shooting schedule catches up with real life. These days, though, Doug, understandably, doesn't show up on our screens very often, so the memorial left us, and we're sure a number of fans, wondering if this was the last episode Hayes was able to film before his death. We went straight to Days of Our Lives to ask that very question, and a show rep assured us that Hayes and Doug's final episode won't air for a few months. They just wanted to do something special to honor him. And honestly, they couldn't have picked a better episode to do it. Over on the Instagram account Susan Seaforth Hayes shared with her late husband, she posted a behind-the-scenes photo from the episode that aired today, writing, "Thank you for loving this lovable cast. We all, fans and actors, are a family. Onward to stories about us, eh? So don't worry just yet. While we've had to say goodbye to his incredible portrayer, Doug will still be sticking around for a little while." And as Seaforth Hayes said, there's still more stories about Doug and Julie to come. We're just going to have to be sure to have plenty of tissues on hand to get through them. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.